Hello, my name's Limey Joe and this is my beginner's guide to Jurassic Park Evolution. Firstly, let me say that Jurassic Park is pretty good at guiding the player through the basics, so I'm going to cover some of the things that I found weren't explained very well and some tips to help your game go smoothly. The first island guides you through placing buildings and connecting them up with path and power. It's worth noting here that an expedition centre is of no use without a fossil centre. Later in the game you don't necessarily start with those buildings. Also, most of the islands aren't as big as they first appear, so explore the boundaries before planning your park. The first time the game may cause confusion is when you get the task to take a photo of a dinosaur. When you get this mission, first of all you have to build a ranger station. Then you have to drive the Jeep by clicking on it and choosing to drive it manually. Drive the Jeep into the dinosaur enclosure through the gate and get a good shot of the dinosaur. Next, let's look at dinosaur enclosures. In general, make them as big as possible, but consider where you're going to put viewing galleries so your punters can see a good amount of the enclosure. If your enclosure does not have any water, then you will need to add some. Unlike some games, you don't need a hole, you just add water wherever you feel is best. Use the terrain modification tool and just add water by clicking in the middle and spiralling outwards. Finally, add the appropriate feeder for the dinosaurs you plan to keep in that enclosure. I would recommend starting with herbivores in your first enclosure because you can put different types in together and they won't fight. Carnivores will fight if you put more than one species in the same enclosure and sometimes kill each other, which is a problem if you've spent your last dime incubating them. The first dinosaurs in the game are very tolerant to imperfect conditions, but later they get a lot more demanding. To check what a dinosaur needs, you left click on it and it will bring up a table of desires. Most of the descriptions are self-explanatory and you can adjust the environment accordingly. However, the two that may require explanation is population and social. Social is the number of dinosaurs in the enclosure of the same type or species. Population is the total number of dinosaurs in the enclosure. If dinosaurs become unhappy, they'll try to escape, which is particularly problematic with a big and aggressive species. Once you've incubated and released a dinosaur, you can check on important information in the Creation Lab with the I tab. This can be very useful later, especially with dinosaurs that require 3 or 4 companions to be happy. The facility rating section is particularly useful if you're aiming for a 5-star park, coupled with the management views tool that shows where there's demand for various facilities. For example, you'll notice that the demand for food and drink is high near a hotel, so when your capacity rating is red and you build a hotel, you will need to leave enough space around it for various facilities. You can also manage your contracts and missions in the control room. Contracts are your short-term goals which gain reputation with one of the 3 divisions: science, security, or entertainment. They're also a good source of money when you complete them. You should always have 3 contracts on the go at once, so request one if you don't, and if it's taking too long to complete one, don't be afraid to terminate it and get a different one. Missions are your longer term, more complex goals that each division will give you once you have gained enough reputation. I try to complete all 3 before moving on to the next island. Lastly, a couple of general tips. Number 1, I recommend researching all new disease cures in the research lab before any other research. If your dinosaurs get a disease and you don't have the cure or the money to research it at that moment, it can kill your dinosaurs and your park along with it. Number 2, send your expedition team to collect fossils as much as possible. Often it's profitable and it will save you time later on in the game. And number 3, big loner dinosaurs are easier than social beasts. So in other words, I would favour a T-Rex over velociraptors if you like an easy life. And who doesn't like an easy life, eh? Good luck and thanks for watching.